et caldei, et gentiles, et judei, ego jubilemus ei gaudeamus, laude sibi Devitas prenderabus.
Thank you very much, everybody. So that is the story of the writing on the wall, the first of the two stories of Daniel, in the play of Daniel. We will be continuing at 12:45 with the first instalment of Daniel in the Lion's Den. Yes, that's right. So we hope to see you all later. Have a lovely day here at Furness. Thank you.
Because
Radio voice.
Trouvere Minstrels are a regular feature here at Furness. You must like it to keep coming back.
We do love coming to Furness. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember how many years we've been coming.
Quite a few.
Quite a few, yeah. I feel almost as old as the Abbey now. But no, we do. We love Furness. I mean, it's a beautiful site. And also the Medieval Fair is just a great event. I think it's a brilliant community event.
Is there something special about performing music of the period in a place which was the period? I mean, you must do it in other places around the country.
We do, but it's especially
what's
lovely.
What's that feeling like?
Oh, it's beautiful. I think it can bring a place to life very nicely. But also it's thrilling for us because, especially with the voice, when Dickie is singing the church music, especially that.
Right in the church.
The building is part of the sound.
Yes.
You know, you don't get the proper sound unless you're in the
place.
right place, really. So it's a thrill in that regard.
You were just explaining to somebody the authenticity of the costume and the headpieces, so that these poor gentlemen don't have to shave their heads.
That's right.
The rest of the costumes must be authentic, but in particular your instruments must be very authentic.
Our instruments are made by specialist makers that we've got to know over the years. Yeah, and they're all based on images and carvings from the Middle Ages. And in some cases there are a few surviving instruments that we can use to copy.
So do you have to teach yourself how to play these instruments? Because the manual must be long lost, doesn't it? The manual to, well, it's a guitar strings, but the tuning is maybe very different.
It is, and the strings are not quite the same as guitar strings. For example, on Jill's harp, they're gut strings. They're made from intestines.
Right, so that's authentic.
Yeah, and they would have had gut strings on guitars as well.
Yeah.
It's just that nowadays we don't have to. So why would we?
Well, no, it's more sort of ethical and gentle to have man-made materials.
And it lasts longer as well, man-made materials.
Yeah.
So the gut strings, the higher ones, they'll last maybe a season, and then they start to deteriorate and stop working or stop sounding in tune. So, you know, modern strings are convenient in many ways, but the tone of a gut string has quite a special sound.
Yeah, I like to play on the gut.
There's a new variant called Nile gut, which is like a nice sort of merging of the two. So you get some of the sound of the gut, but some of the durability of the nylon strings that we use generally nowadays.
Now, you mentioned strings lasting a season. How long is your season performing as Trouvere Minstrels? Am I saying it right?
You do. It's beautiful pronunciation, if I may say so. So, yeah. It's our season is year round, but we do a lot of. We are most busy in the summer period.
Okay.
No, from Easter through till September. Furness is usually the penultimate gig for us in our summer season because it's followed pretty closely by our own festival, Medieval Music in the Dales, and that's the end of our season.
You also have many recordings online and
we
available.
Do.
So how long have you been recording your work?
The first Trouvere recording was made on CD and cassette tape. So I think that says how long ago it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're still finding new music to perform and record.
There's so much medieval music.
So this is the all year round thing that keeps you going in the winter.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does.
So if you were to name some instruments, which I will take photographs of shortly, so what instruments do you perform with?
Well, I play mostly the harps.
Which is there.
So you can see my early harp there. Yeah. That's an example of a harp from around 800 to around 1200 in style, really. Paul plays his guitar types. So this is a guitarn with its nice teardrop shape.
Lovely.
And the sitole is the other one with its beautiful carved fox head.
Yeah,
over there.
And then the drummer just bangs skins, doesn't he?
Yeah. That's right. And there's a pair of bagpipes there as well. They weren't in the show, but we always bring them to add a bit of background ambience.
So this horn is called
This is all part of this big bagpipe here.
Is it? It's a bagpipe.
Yeah.
There's more than one bagpipe. Right. That's a lovely sound, the bagpipe. It's
That's what we were
mesmerising,
playing
isn't
earlier,
it?
I think,
Yeah. When you were warming up and blowing things in, and so what is the story you're telling today? I caught the end of that. It's the story of Daniel.
It's the story of Daniel from the Old Testament. Yeah, and it's a wonderful church play which was composed in the middle of the 12th century.
So it's original.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it
Okay.
was written down in the 13th century, but we know it goes back to the middle of the 12th century.
Okay.
And it's a wonderful piece. It's about an hour or so long if you do it from start to finish. And it tells the story of Daniel and the writing on the wall in King Belshazzar,
Yeah.
and the story of Daniel in the lion's den. It's all told in song in the original, in Latin.
Yeah.
So we present it with a bit of storytelling as well, so people can keep
So
up
where
with
would
what's
this
going on.
manuscript have lived
It was
for you
created
for you to find it later on? Was it in
created
a library?
Beauvais, yeah. It was
Hidden away?
the whole play was composed by the choir of Beauvais Cathedral in northern France.
Okay.
And the manuscript was there for quite a long time, and then somehow, and the way these things happen, somehow it ended up in the British Library.
Right, that's
so
good.
it's now British Egerton manuscript 2615, and it's a few folios in that particular
So what
manuscript.
problems do you have
Gorgeous.
reading a manuscript that old? Do you recognise what they're trying to tell you?
Yeah,
Because
by
it
and
must,
large.
the hand and the style must have changed considerably.
It has, but the beginning, we can see in medieval music the origins of our modern music.
Okay,
And
Notation,
this
that is.
particular manuscript is one of the easier ones to read.
right.
Staves and the notes are arranged on the stave very clearly. There's sharps and flats, and there's a ledger line as well in the music. So lots of little bits that we would know from modern music appear in the
Right.
in
okay.
the
I love how
manuscript.
excited you get when you say there's a ledger line.
Did his face light up?
It did. Yeah.
You
But
picked it up
it's
quicker than me.
It's a beautifully detailed manuscript, and although you can't tell everything about it, and particularly you have to make some judgments about rhythm.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But it is beautifully clear, and you can see what note is meant at any time. Yeah, the clefs and so on.
So every year you bring a different show.
We try to bring a different
Furness.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a new. We're putting this together for a concert program that we're doing for the next year or so.
Okay.
A whole concert of the Ludus Danielis, and also a recording.
And people are attracted. They hear you play and they come and they sit and they watch and they're enthralled.
Hopefully, that's the idea.
You must get that sort of. Are they looking at you saying, "What's this all about?" But then they seem to be. Yeah, they're enthralled, and because there was a very good crowd here, wasn't
It
there?
was, yeah.
And you couldn't have a better auditorium than the nave
I know. Although we will move
of
into
the
the
church,
transept
and we are
as
standing
well.
just by the transept, aren't we?
We'll move into the transept this afternoon when the sun gets in there a little bit.
Okay.
That's a beautiful spot, and you get even more reverb when you're actually inside.
So the next part of the story, you said, is it Daniel and the Lion?
We're going to begin the story of Daniel and the
Okay,
Lion's
which is
Den.
one we all should know, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Really. But we'll come back later and watch that.